You're listening to For Wales, See Wales, the podcast about Wales and Welsh politics. If you want to be more informed about Wales and everything that goes on here, keep listening after this.
This podcast is very lucky to have an excellent sponsor in the form of Hello Starling.
Hello.
Starling.
Does anyone know what they do?
Okay, well, I know they're not a PR agency.
They are a media buying and planning experts.
They are. They are experts in putting your product, brand, campaign in front of people who need to see it. So let me give you an example. So they did a campaign with Brecon Carreg.
The water.
Oh, wow.
The water which apparently I just see everywhere.
Yeah.
Very refreshing.
So they ran a campaign with them to increase essentially just their social media following. And the campaign led to over 5,000 additional followers for a water brand.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is really good stuff in a time when ultimately visibility is the key thing because everybody wants your attention. These guys are good at cutting through. They'll give you good quality data to show what's worked, what hasn't, and how they're going to do what they do. So if you think this will be useful for you, go to hellostarling.com. That's hellostarling.com.
Hello and welcome to For Wales, See Wales with me, Mel Owen.
Me, Robin Morgan.
And me, Will Hayward.
We're in the studio.
We are.
Yes, it is episode number 1 of who knows how many this week.
We did a lot last week.
We did a lot.
There was a lot.
There was a lot of stuff going on, and I really enjoyed, one of the comments on YouTube is like, the hardest working political commentators in Wales, and I was like, guys, we've just jumped on a Zoom. Bless you, but I mean...
We still are the hardest working ones. Yeah,
Chris Mason looks exhausted.
Yeah. I'm living on Parliament Green and an umbrella, and we're just having me pissing into a coffee cup at 8 a.m. in the morning on Riverside.
It was great. I mean, there's so much going on, and it does make you wonder how much of this is going to happen up until May, because, like, you know, it's election season, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and if the For Wales curse continues, I don't know.
As soon as producer Darryl presses the off button, what we're thinking?
Oh yeah, what could happen? Who could defect? Who could leave? Who could lead? Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a mad week, wasn't it?
It was crazy.
Should we unpick it?
Yeah, I think we need to. Now, I am very aware of the For Wales, See Wales curse, and I know that the moment these words exit my mouth, that the whole situation is going to change. But at time of recording, there is a bit of a debate going on, a bit of confusion perhaps around where Reform's new leader Dan Thomas lives.
I was going to say who he is, and we still don't really know that, to be fair.
There are some Reform people who are at that press conference who are still trying on their WAP phone to find out.
WAP is a great reference.
Yeah. WAP means something very different to me.
Yeah, no, it does now.
What does WAP mean to you?
Go on.
No.
Have a think.
Just look up lyrics to WAP.
WAP, oh.
This is what you get with this podcast. Not many people can go from Cardi B to new Reform Welsh leader Dan Thomas.
Exactly.
I'm not going to lie to you.
We are the Venn diagram.
I'm finding out what the acronym WAP means and who Cardi B is.
Yeah.
So
I'm finding out who Dan Thomas is.
So Nation broke a story over the weekend where they said that Dan Thomas actually lives in Bath. So the new Reform leader in Wales actually lives in Bath.
Which he wouldn't be allowed to, right?
Under Senate rules, he could be the leader of Reform, but he wouldn't be able to run for the Senate.
Right.
Is it that he can't live there, or that he has to be on the electoral register in Wales? Because he can have multiple houses, right? So
Yes.
not for me coming out and defending Dan Thomas, but somebody needs to, am I right? But I believe he's allowed to have multiple properties, but he has to be on the electoral register in Wales,
Sure.
which would suggest that you're...
His primary residence.
Yes, yeah. Much like the Queen.
So Nation Cymru published this story where they said actually he was living in Bath. I'm not kind of questioning the rest of you, so I don't know. I don't have access to Nation's source. As I said last week, we're looking into Dan Thomas, and there will be something in the coming weeks. But I went to Reform, and they said Dan lives in Wales, specific. Any claim to the contrary is entirely false. He lives here in Wales where he is raising his young family. He is happy for any journalist to come and visit. And that they claimed anything to the contrary was a smear. Mr. Thomas himself posted as he walked around somewhere, presumably in Wales, saying that I think the establishment at Cardiff Bay and their supporters are truly rattled. Trustworthy journalists, if you have doubts where I live, you are very welcome to come over for a cup of tea. but I will only deal with credible journalists.
Oh, so you're out then.
Hey,
we're in.
So
Show the awards. Show the awards.
So they have their own cabinet. It's a big cabinet. And so I went to them and said, oh, well, could I do an interview with this Thomas? Would you like to come on the podcast? Or would you like to come on the podcast? And they said they'd think about it. So we'll see what they say about that if I get an audience. But then Nation came out with another story where they said that he owned a £1 million property in Bath, to which Reform said, Dan has a property in Bath which he lets out, but he lives here in Wales. And he was on BBC over the weekend, wasn't he?
Yeah, on Politics Wales. He was. He said a sentence which I think I've become a bit obsessed with. He said, I have a property portfolio which is being weaponised against me.
No, the plight of the rich white man. It is rough. Come on.
It's a hard knock.
I just really enjoyed it. I think considering a few days before he was sort of like hailed by Farage as this prodigal son who's coming back just to, he's a man of the people. He's a strong Welsh man. The dragon will roar again. Cut to my property portfolio is being weaponised against me.
The only way I can really relate to that is if you play Monopoly and you get assessed for street repairs.
Yeah. You're absolutely smashing the game and then you're like, oh... You've gone big, haven't you? It's that scene in Tiger King, like, I'm never going to financially recover from this. Look, I mean, as we said, you're allowed to have multiple properties. I think Clear Power's on Radio Wales defending him, saying, like, he's done well. He's earned a decent living. He's got multiple properties. He's got this £1 million house near Bath. It's where he lives, right? In terms of whether he's going to run as a Senedd candidate, but also it is very, very specific in terms of, no, he lives in Wales.
Oh, yeah, Wales.
One of the first ever episodes of this, we were saying how ridiculous it is that when, like, national news go, like, and there's a news story and it's just Wales written down, like, come on now, like, where is this?
Yeah.
We're a big country. Where is this?
Yeah.
And they can't even specify. And I know there's probably safety concerns as well, and they don't want people sort of doorstepping him.
I think we can give a general first bit of the postcode. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Let's just give a little CF something.
Yeah. A little CF62. But the fact that they were so specific about Blackwood last week.
Yeah.
Like that. This is where he's from. He was born in Blackwood.
Yeah.
He wants his children to grow up in the same environment that he had.
Yeah.
And now it is like, oh no, like we're not saying where. It's Wales. It's Wales.
He is Wales. He's the Welsh dragon.
He is Wales.
Which is a position I have fought for gallantly.
Yeah.
And now he wants to fucking swoon in and be like, I'm the Welsh dragon. Sure. I mean, it's not uncommon for candidates to be parachuted in.
No.
Right? Like parties do this all the time. All of a sudden they're like, oh no, I've really had an interest in like South Lampeter. Do you know what I mean? My whole life, even though I'm from Cheshire. It is quite common. But, I mean, play the fucking game, mate. Tell us where you live.
Yeah. Tell us where you live. You'd be dreadful on blind dates. Scylla would always go, tell us who you are and where you come from. My name's Dan and I'm from Wales, but where specifically? Scylla Black would
Give us a CF postcode.
Yeah, come on.
Give us something.
So he has said that he is willing to demonstrate to journalists that this is the case. Like this story broke over a weekend. We're recording this on a Monday. I'm totally willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt at this point. Maybe in a few weeks we'll be saying something different. We wait and see. He says he's happy to demonstrate it, so we'll see. But there is actually some form for this. So before the rules changed, Neil Hamilton, who was a UKIP AM, actually lived his entire time as a Senedd member from his Wiltshire mansion.
Yeah, because this is quite a recent rule change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it not this Senedd, but the Senedd before?
Yeah, it was 2021, I believe.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense.
I don't think it's weird that if you stand in a country's parliament, you live in the country.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't run for the US Senate.
Yeah.
No.
Not with that attitude. Strive, Will, strive.
I do think it makes sense because I think the decisions that you make have to directly impact you. Yeah. I think that is a fair enough kind of rule, to be honest. And just have like a vested interest in the place. Like, I do understand some people are parachuted in and do you know what? They make excellent representatives, MSs, MPs, because they go, do you know what? This is where I live now. I've wanted to be an MS and I'm going to make the best of it. Fair enough. Play the game.
Yeah. If you care, you care, right?
Yeah.
And I think, you could have somebody who's like a local resident of a place who would be a dreadful MS for that place.
We all know them.
Yeah.
We all
exactly.
know them.
Busybodies.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good rule change.
As Mel said, there's nothing wrong with somebody, moving somewhere and then getting involved in that place. I mean, he's from Wales originally. I don't think it would matter if he wasn't, actually.
No.
Yeah.
If I think the optics for some people would be really bad, but I can't sit here as an English-born journalist and say, who the hell are these people coming over here and doing that?
But also, I think they've obviously gone for him because he has, their line is that he has experience running, a big council, and he has sort of political experience, which I think you could argue that some reform candidates won't have.
Yeah.
It's interesting to sort of hear the narrative slowly start to come out, because I think that kind of he's come back to Wales to sort of save it, I think might start getting punctured if this sort of Bath story keeps on running. But the Britain is broken thing.
So this was a thing that James Evans was on Sunday Supplement with Vaughan Roderick over the weekend. I mean, his whole justification for leaving the Tories was they wouldn't say that Britain is broken, which, I mean, it just feels like bollocks, doesn't it? I mean, the gravy train slowed down as it past the station and you tuck and rolled onto it.
So broke his leg.
You were pointing out, Robin, that there was a contrast between James Evans's messaging, where he said, "Oh, Britain is broken, Wales is broken, broken," and then Clear Powell, Welsh Dave, was on, and he didn't say it at all.
Yeah, 24 hours later. So James Evans was on Sunday Supplement on Radio Wales talking about it on the Sunday, and then Clear Powell was on Radio Wales Breakfast on the Monday. And Clear Powell didn't mention Britain is broken at all, didn't mention it at all. And I think it's because he is not a Conservative defectee. I think it's because if you join from the Conservatives, you have to say the magic word. You have to say the secret password to get
explain.
in. So then you can't be tarred with this. You're the one
Tories
who broke it.
Yeah, right.
So I think Clear Powell and the people who've been in there since the ground floor, I don't think need to say this. I reckon, how a cult has members, like a sort of like a pyramid. I feel like if you got in early doors, if you've done the tests, I don't think you need to say certain things. But ground members, I think you need to. Maybe they've got slightly different shade of tie. Different signet ring.
Different badges you go through.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
Not that it's a cult.
No, it's business. I listened to that James Evans interview as well. And I mean, again, so little of what he says is authentic and buyable at this point. Like, he's so unbelievable. And I know, I was trying to really kind of be kind and, consider what he said in his speech last week, that people change their minds, right? People change their minds all the time. I do understand that, right? But not even a year ago, he was going on about how reform have no plan, reform are scary. Not just here, so everywhere. Any media platform that would have him, he was on, right? And he was slagging off reform. And how are we meant to believe this is anything other than they might give him a paycheck?
Yeah.
Because, how can you make such a jump? None of it is defendable. And also, it makes a mockery of all the people clapping him like seals in that room because, you've seen what he said. How do you believe what he says now? Are you willing to take anybody, not to be rude to James Evans, but you're willing to take anyone at this rate?
I find it quite interesting because he's someone obviously we've had on the show and, and I think it's interesting to see that change, that defection in real times, really close by. When something happens close to where you live, you're like, oh, it affects you a little bit more. It's been really interesting to see that because, he's parroting the lines that I think that a lot of reform defectees have. The attack on journalism felt very, very felt quite a lot, and he was asked about this on Sunday Supplement, and I don't know how he feels about that.
No.
Because he's had to sort of he's had to change his mentality with it.
And he's loved any media opportunity given to him. So he's like journalists when they give him opportunities, but then he doesn't like the reporting that then happens on what he said. And the thing is, nobody's twisting his words.
He said, they're half quotes. And
they're full quotes of what you
said.
I
reported verbatim what he said.
Yeah.
Full videos, but
he just changes how he speaks. And if he was in front of the Women's Institute, he'd just be banging on about jam for half an hour. I think he plays the room. Say what you want about James Evans, he plays the room.
Play a room well. He'd be a good comic. Do you know what I mean? He'd be adaptable.
Don't say that. He'll start comedy.
Don't do it.
Within 2 years, he'll be doing open mic nights and be like, "You inspired me, Mel Owen."
Oh God!
Be on Apollo, shouting you out.
One thing I did take issue with was when he was being asked about Britain being broken. He was asked, "Well, you were part of it," and he said, "Well, I was been very clear to people that I wasn't liking a lot of the stuff that was going on." There was 3 Welsh Conservative Senedd members who backed Liz Truss, who, let's be honest, if Britain's broken, she did the people's elbow to it, to smash it.
Yeah,
she'd make a good wrestler.
She would make a good wrestler, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
The 3 Senate members, Conservative Senate members who backed Liz Truss were Laura Ann Jones, James Evans and Andrew R.T. Davis.
Oh, wow.
Great decision making there, guys.
But he was inside the tent saying, guys, we shouldn't do this. This is a mistake. Literally authored a joint opinion piece for Wales Online on the August the 16th, 2022, titled, Why We Are Backing Liz Truss to be Our Next Prime Minister.
Wow.
So let's not pretend you were this kind of free-thinking, freewheeling
Radical
maverick who was just trying to push back against all these people trying to break Britain. You were going, the absolute lunatic who's going to make all of our mortgages much more expensive and actually get herself dressed up in Margaret Thatcher cosplay, holding an apple in one of the pictures for no inexplicable reason.
Yeah.
That's my gal.
Yeah. What gets me as well is like genuinely I was in the conference hall on the year of we sell
Lord.
more cheese than France or whatever.
Pork market.
Yeah.
We import 2/3 of our cheese. That is an absolute disgrace.
Iconic.
Everybody in that room was laughing at her.
Yeah.
Right. These are party members. These
Yeah.
are delegates who should be everyone. And I'd hate to drag another woman, but everyone thought she was a Muppet. Like genuinely everyone. And then she was leader. But what gets me is they like everyone was always like, oh, fucking Liz Truss. Do you know what I mean? Like every MP you spoke to, every member thought she was a laughing stock. So for them to publicly back her when everyone thought she was a Muppet, it wasn't like she was surprised, oh my God, she's actually really dim. She was always dim.
Yeah.
Always.
That's so funny. I mean,
So how can they publicly have backed her?
I mean, what you say about being a Muppet as well, and then you mentioned Andrew R.T. Davis, Laura Ann Jones, James Evans. It's like Muppets Christmas Carol. Those 3.
The math is mathing. Do you know what I mean? The math do be mathing.
While we're on the Welsh Conservatives, can I play you a little clip that emerged recently into my lexicon? I text producer Daryl on the Sunday to find this clip. So thank you very much, Daryl. I appreciate you working on your 3 hours of non editing this podcast this week. So me and my friend Katrin were talking about Darren Miller the other day, and she started saying something verbatim, and I was like, "What's that?" And then she was like, "Oh, it's this clip from Gavin and Stacey. Let me play you this."
What? Sharif! What is wrong with you? Don't even chat to me, yeah? Because I've got nothing to say to you. What's your problem? One word. Darren Miller? There's nothing with Darren Miller. Not since you're 10. You're a liar. I ain't a liar. My auntie saw you on the fire escape, yeah? Well, why would I lie to you? You're not even with Darren Miller. What do you mean I'm not with Darren Miller? You know full well I'm with Darren Miller. Yeah, well, I ain't done nothing to him. I ain't gone near him. I told you. I wouldn't do that to you, yeah? I know you love me with your actions. Go away.
Sorry, I just really...
That's live footage from James Evans leading the Conservatives.
It really reminded me of that.
Brilliant.
And I don't know why when he didn't become Conservative leader, why that didn't pop into my head.
Picked up on this. That's incredible.
So I promised my friend Katrin that we would talk about it.
Brilliant stuff. I mean, of all the names, as well, like, how has nobody picked up on this?
Some freezing Ukrainians who had a random Bible distributed to them, snewing, oh my God, I'm getting flashbacks.
Darren Miller.
Darren Miller.
So funny.
Brilliant stuff. Love that.
Great. You're welcome.
Should we talk about something more policy-based?
Go on then.
What, there's something more than that?
I know we've done a lot of reform, but I think it's quite interesting at the moment because obviously we had the new leader, but there was something that Farage said last week. When he was at the conference, he was asked about Wales being shortchanged on rail and HS2. And we know, we've covered this lots of times, about Wales being robbed of billions because of what's happened around HS2. And Farage was asked, now bear in mind, he's got a pretty good chance of being the next Prime Minister. He'll be in a position to fix this. If you're saying Wales has got issues, one of the biggest ways you can do it is to give us a fair share of funding. He was asked about rail and what he would do about it. And he said...
Do it in the voice, please.
His voice, it's hard to do a
It's an
Farage,
odd
isn't
one,
it? It's
isn't
quite
it?
like...
Yeah.
He said, I mean, look, there is an argument going around about HS2 money should be diverted to Wales by the Labour government. It's not going to happen. They're all committed, madly committed to HS2. I would say this to you, that Wales has been incredibly badly let down. The reason that primary steelworks in Port Talbot has closed is because both the Conservative and Labour governments have pursued insane net zero policies about deindustrialising Britain. He added, Wales will never get rich. However much money is transferred from national government, Wales will only get richer if it does it for itself. Is he advocating for Welsh independence?
so funny if you'd have told me like it wasn't Nigel Farage saying that.
Yeah,
it was
that was a
Reen on
unicorn.
Kunzberg.
Yeah.
Obviously, let's put aside the stuff about net zero policies, Port Talbot, because the question wasn't about that. The question was about HS2. And I think the first thing to say is he clearly doesn't actually understand what the HS2 issue is. So he said they're saying that HS2 money should be diverted to Wales by the Labour government, but that isn't going to happen because they're committed to HS2. The issue isn't that money should be transferred from HS2 to Wales. That isn't the argument at all. The argument is that there should be a consequential based on HS2 spending that means that Wales gets extra money, just like Scotland and Northern Ireland. And what it will also mean is that because of how the Treasury, I say works for want of a better word, the way that the Treasury works is because HS2 was defined as an England and Wales project, when the Treasury look down future lists of where funding's gone, they'll go, oh, look, Wales got loads of money then. So Wales doesn't get more money in the future. So it's not just we miss out on the HS2 money now, it means in the future we're seen as already having had loads. He obviously just doesn't understand it. And this is a key, this is one of the big things in Wales that essentially shortchange us and keep us poor. But it was this line that really, really, I think, if you are serious about making Wales better, if reformers standing there saying, yeah, we genuinely want to improve Wales, this line saying, Wales will never get rich, however much money is transferred from national government. Wales will only get richer if it does it for itself. So the point I want to make about that. So in a month, my book's out. And a key part of that book is actually looking at how Wales is funded, because hidden under all of a myriad of Treasury equations is basically Wales has been absolutely fucked. But when you first look at it, it looks like Wales isn't been fucked. It looks like Wales is getting a great deal. So it's a very specific Pornhub category.
This is the analysis. This is the forward to the book.
I actually got the forward to the book yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, Carol Vorderman's doing it.
Go on, Vorders.
Well, the way she did it was she just said, can we do another constant, please?
Yeah, very strong.
Lovely.
She's your editor as well. Great stuff.
So Wales gets 120% of what's spent in England on things that are devolved. So for every pound that is spent in England on health, Wales gets £1.20. Same for education, same for all the devolved things. So, and that, we'll go into more detail on this in another episode, but basically that's the situation. Because that's a good deal for Wales. Plaid think that we should be getting more based on need, but the reason that we get more is because of the fact that we have a higher level of need and we have a more spread out population. Farage is basically saying, well, Wales is getting loads more, but it's still poor. But the issue isn't about what Wales gets through what's devolved. The issue comes when you look at the things where the UK government has a choice about what it gives Wales. So it doesn't have a choice about giving Wales money on health and education because it's an automatic consequential. And that's the issue with rail not being devolved, that the UK government has a choice and it chooses not to. Yeah. Now, if we say that Wales gets that 120% of England's spending on things that are devolved, when you go to things which aren't devolved and you include that, it goes down to 114%. Now, you might say, well, that still seems like a pretty good deal. But the key thing to remember here is Wales is an enormous, disproportionate beneficiary is probably one word, but receiver of benefits. Of the 10 local authorities in England and Wales with the most claimants per person of benefits, 6 out of 10 are in Wales.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Wales is getting a disproportionately high amount of benefit claimants. If Wales is so overwhelmingly overrepresented when it comes to benefit claimants, why has it gone down from 120% to 114%? You'd think it would stay the same or it go up even more. It's because there are non-devolved areas where Wales gets a tiny amount compared to other parts of the UK. And that comes down to basically things like R&D spending and large infrastructure. R&D spending, let me give you an example of how much Wales gets in terms of R&D spending. So the east and southeast of England, London, they get £1,400 of R&D spending per person. This is 42% above the national average, which is 987. So the national average is £987 per person.
Wow.
In Wales, we get just £534 per person. So Wales is 46% below the national average. The southeast of England is 42% above the national average.
Right.
Okay. Now, why is this important? It's because money for benefits and money on health, that money doesn't make a country richer. It keeps it where it is. It maintains a standard of living. But the things that really generate wealth and increase better paid jobs, things that can expand the prosperity of a nation, the things that the UK government chooses to put where it goes, Wales gets a tiny, tiny amount.
Sure.
So let's imagine that the current system, Wales is a sick person. What the UK government is currently doing is paying us enough to stay on life support, make sure we don't die, but it's not giving us enough to be cured. And so that thing of it doesn't matter how much money Wales gets is a complete misnomer. If Wales got money invested in the right things that the UK government has a choice over, we would have far, far better prosperity. But they choose not to. And that's the key thing. So anybody who looks at the Barnett formula and goes, oh, Wales is doing really well out of this. We are, but we're not doing well on the things that can improve the situation. We are doing well on the things that maintain the situation. Now, that is a really, really key thing. And any politician who comes up to you and says that it's not about the amount of money, he's either being completely disingenuous or doesn't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. And I think that's a really, really important thing. There is no region in England that does worse than Wales when it comes to publicly funded R&D expenditure. Nowhere. Even the areas like the North East, East Midlands, those traditional areas that you think of as having really high levels of poverty. So Nigel Farage to stand there and go, it doesn't matter how much money Wales gets. It isn't. It does matter, because every time the UK government has a choice, it chooses to give parts of England a better deal. Barnett keeps us alive without making us healthy. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah, totally. It sort of treats the symptoms to another cause, right?
Is that, do you think, just a fault of it's how it's always been, it would be too difficult to change it now? Is that a political choice? Because having Wales that was economically prospering would encourage the warmth towards independence? Or do you think it's a mixture?
I think it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of historical things. I don't think there's somebody in Whitehall going, what are we going to do to screw Wales?
It's just not a priority, right?
It's not a priority. And actually, if you were looking to invest in a new high-end laboratory, for instance, looking at some cutting-edge technology, it might make sense from the point of view of where the workforce is to put that in Cambridge. That would make sense. But the problem is, the reason why we've got to that stage is because of long-term sustained funding. So if you really want to increase productivity across the whole of the UK, what you actually need to do is make sure that you are investing not just, evenly to start with would be, I mean, if Wales started getting the UK average, it would get almost double the amount of R&D funding. That would be huge. But if you then add to the fact that we're getting screwed over on rail, the tiny amount of investment we get on these basic infrastructure, that then stops companies from investing in Wales. So you've got a Welsh government which is responsible for economic development, but a UK government that is responsible for all of the things that can drive economic development.
Yeah.
And it's just, there is no way under this current situation. You could have the best government in the world at Cardiff Bay. We don't. But you could have the best government in the world at Cardiff Bay and things would not get better. It is like saying to someone, you need to build a new house because your house isn't very good, and then giving them like a beach bucket and spade. It isn't possible. And it's this thing that keeps Wales poor, and the complete lack of acknowledgement. Walking around saying, it's because we're spending money on houses going to immigrants. Like, it just isn't. It just isn't. They are rounding errors on spreadsheets, and spreadsheets where they don't even have a Wales tab. That's the issue.
With that in mind, then, so if we could have the best government there's ever been seen, I feel like Donald Trump, like it's the best government, the best one, and it wouldn't really fortify Wales to be prosperous economically, why should I vote in May?
There are levers that are available to them that could make things better in terms of getting in external investment. They do have limited levers. I mean, Wales has had the ability to borrow money for about 10 years, and they've only maxed it out on 2 years. Scotland maxed it out every single year.
Wow.
Bear in mind as well, Scotland's borrowing power increased with inflation. Wales's didn't.
Wow.
That was just built into the system. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, my book's really good.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
Can you come and read it to us every week? Can you just do us a chapter a night?
But also, so in terms of how you vote this in May and whether it's worth doing, we could still run our health service a hell of a lot better. We could still have a much more logical system of council tax, which isn't as regressive. We could still have a school system which is better run. We could still have an environmental policies which don't both kill farmers and nature. You know, it's perfectly possible to have all these things actually work better, and that is what you're voting for in May. Imagine your house is on fire and you say, do you want to have a fire department? And you say, yes. I want a fire department. That fire department is the Welsh government. But then you say, do you want the fire department to have like hoses? That is the UK government.
Okay.
Whether they're going to how much water they're going to be allowed.
Yeah.
So we have the tool, we have the physical tools in Wales, but none of the ingredients, if that makes sense. I'm mixing my analogies horrifically, but that I totally understand why you'd be frustrated that actually we can't fix things in Wales, so why vote in the Senate elections? But there is a hell of a lot of low-hanging fruit, I believe, still, that we could.
I suppose in terms of what needs to be changed, which is Barnet, the amount of firepower on a UK level of people who want to change that is minimal, right? No one in Scotland wants to change it because it sorts them out absolutely lovely. In terms of Wales, it should be the Welsh SEC. It should be the Welsh MPs who are trying to get more money for their constituents, but some are going across party lines. So I suppose it goes outside of that political spectrum, right? It needs to become a societal thing. It needs to be...
People who vote need to give a shit about it.
It needs to become almost the biggest issue for Welsh people to care about. Going, if we collectively, like in Scotland, independence became this big ethereal thing that everyone was talking about, so it put so much pressure on the UK government. If we all started going, well, actually, we have been completely shortchanged, so it's constantly spoken about. It does heap pressure on then the people who, we're not saying that, as you said, evil genius going, I'm going to fuck Wales over so nicely. It's just not a priority. Whereas the more people that care about it and the more pressure they get put under, it's going to get put up the list, right?
Yeah. The entire premise of the book is you are totally legitimate to be annoyed right now. Reform voters, you are right to be pissed off.
Yeah.
Things are quite shit. There's a lot of things that are very bad. But the people telling you it's people in boats, let's put aside the racism and everything that's tied to that. Let's put that aside. And let's just say, it's just not true. The roots of Wales's issues are baked in so much deeper than some poor sod tried to cross English Channel in January. As you say, Robin, the only way that these things start to matter is when people give a shit about it. Your only chance, really, to influence a government is when you, every half decade, put an X in a box. And that's the only time you ultimately can directly impact them. And there's a reason why we've had a triple lock on pensions for the most likely person to be in poverty in Wales is a child under 4. And the least likely is a pensioner. Voting matters.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's not just the voting. It's
having it in your mind.
It's the stuff in between that as well. Yeah. I think we have a responsibility as citizens to be able to still continually push push issues that matter to us. We can't sort of, I voted.
By voting matters, I mean having being minded of what is happening in your country when you vote.
Yeah.
I think the UK government can't really understand why people still give a shit about HS2. I can't believe that HS2 has managed to cut through in Wales. People won't know the minutiae of comparability factors, but if you ask quite a lot of people in Wales who aren't politically engaged, they go, oh yeah, HS2 was bad for Wales. They know that.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating to see what topics sort of resonate. I mean, last year it was the post office scandal, and that was big because Toby Jones was in a drama about it. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous thing that had been going on for decades.
Plastic
before
pollution, because David Attenborough was talking about it.
Yeah.
Who can we get to talk about the Barnet formula?
I mean, Sheen's, I'm thinking, Sheen's on rhymezone.com for Barnet right now, I think.
He is. He's looking. Sheridan Smith. She's already got the Darren Miller.
Yeah, Darren Miller. Barnet.
Barnet
sort
formula.
Barnet out.
Love it. Call her.
So the final thing I'll just say is, when we talk about reform of Barnet in itself, as in what gets Barneted, is actually not a bad deal for Wales. Plaid will say we should get a bit more. The risk with reforming, just saying, let's reassess how much Wales needs, is we might get less. But we get that 120% of what's spent in England. The issue isn't how Barnet works in terms of the money Wales gets from Barneted things. It's the things that aren't Barneted. So the fact that rail isn't Barneted, the fact that R&D spending isn't Barneted, all of these things are an issue. We can tie in loads of other stuff, like the fact that the Treasury is simultaneously an accountancy department and an economic development department, but only looks at the accountancy side. There's lots of other things. It's not just Barnet, but Barnet needs to be reformed. But the only thing worse than Barnet is not having any Barnet, because then Wales is just competing for every pot of money, like Cornwall, the North East, Devon. Barnet in some ways, and we'll talk about this in future episodes, or people could buy the book, has sheltered Wales from certain things, especially it's made Tory austerity less brutal
Yeah,
on Wales
sure.
than it was in England. And people do seem to forget that.
I would love some kind of test for the party leaders before going to May, for them to just explain what you've just explained.
That'd be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
I would love them to be able to just put into words what you've just said.
I would like there to be a television debate with
Yeah.
Will chairing it.
Yes.
And they have to explain it, but also all the party leaders have to drink every time Barnet is mentioned, because you mentioned it a lot in that
Yes.
section just then. So
But
imagine them
imagine.
doing a shot every time Barnet was mentioned.
Yes.
Dan Thomas is dialed in from the Salisbury Plain.
Very, very good analysis, Will Hayward. When is your book out, please?
It's out on the 13th of March and it's called Who Cares About Wales?
I do. Put that in your forward.
Yeah.
I do.
That's a spoiler. Right at the end, it's just a picture of Mel going,
Yeah, Mel does.
Ida.
Well done.
It's who cares. The last
How the
page,
book ended.
the last page is just this woman.
This woman.
This gal does.
The Dragon of Wales. And it's like, come at me.
Come at me, Dan Thomas. Go on. Please do come on the pod, though.
Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? I mean,
in all seriousness, yes.
it does mean we've had a reform guest on the pod now, and it is only because James Evans has defected.
Yeah, it doesn't count, though. Do you know what I mean? It
Conservative at the time of
At
recording.
the time,
yeah,
you know,
sure.
it did slag off reform, but we didn't even ask him to. We just decided
Yeah,
to.
sure.
Yes, but I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. I really learned a lot there.
You know what I will also enjoy? Our live show in Aberystwyth, taking place on St David's Day, 1st of March, at Agoch Theatre. Tickets are, I believe, nearly all gone.
They're 2/3 gone.
Good grief. So by the time
In a
this,
week?
Yeah. So by the time this goes out, I reckon there'll be, a dozen or so. So
Yeah.
there is
We don't know. That might actually be Dan Thomas's backyard. We don't know where he lives in Wales.
that'd be
That's
nice.
true. He
It might
lives
be a
in
local-
Aradgor.
It might be a local gig for him.
In which case, I apologise.
Come along. We'll try and keep it down, Dan, and not wake you up during the live show. So get your tickets. They're on with this like an Eventbrite link. You
Yeah,
can get
like
them there.
link on our in all the show notes, YouTube, on our Instagram bio, whatever.
Yeah.
People are finding it,
And then when that one sells out, we'll have another announcement about something
have another
similar
announcement.
as well. So
exciting.
a little tease.
Yes.
In the meantime, your book comes out very, very soon. You can pre-order it now.
You can pre-order it now.
Whereabouts?
Get it from wherever you choose to get your books. It is
Oh.
available at all good bookstores and things owned by Jeff Bezos. It's called Who Cares About Wales? Give it a Google.
Brilliant stuff. Well, guys, I have been Mel Owen.
I continue to be and will always be Robin Morgan.
And I'm Will Hayward.
Bye.
Bye.
Darren Miller. That's how we've
I'm
got to
with
keep-
Darren Miller.
I am with Darren Miller.
You're right with Darren Miller. I didn't know you were with Darren Miller.
Yeah, please let me in the party. I'm not with Darren Miller.